You summarized this entire tweet storm with 2 words: productize yourself.
Productize and yourself. Yourself has uniqueness. Productize has leverage. Yourself has accountability. Productize has specific knowledge. Yourself also has specific knowledge in there. So all of these pieces, you can combine them into these 2 words. Whenever you're doing anything in business, if you're looking towards the long term of getting wealthy, you should ask yourself, is this authentic to me? Is it myself that I'm projecting? And then am I productizing it? Am I scaling it? Am I scaling with labor or with capital or with code or with media? So it's a very handy, simple mnemonic. I mean, what is this podcast? This is a podcast called Naval. I'm literally productizing myself with a podcast.
You want to figure out what you're uniquely good at or what you uniquely are and apply as much leverage as possible. So making money isn't even something you do. It's not a skill. It's who you are stamped out a million times.
Making money should be a function of your identity and what you like to do. Another tweet that I really liked was, this was not mine, somebody else put this up. They said, find 3 hobbies, one that makes you money, one that keeps you fit, and one that makes you creative. I would change that slightly. So I would say one that makes you money, one that makes you fit, and one that makes you smarter. So in my case, my hobbies would be reading. Making money is I love working with startups, either investing in them, brainstorming them, starting them. I just love that ideation and initial creation phase around startups. And then on the hobby that keeps you fit, I don't really have one. Closest thing I have is yoga, but that's where I fell apart. And I think people who early in life discover something like surfing or swimming or tennis or some sport that they continue doing throughout most of their life are very lucky because they found a hobby that'll make them fit.
We've finished discussing the tweet storm, and we're going to spend some time on Q&A and discussing some of the tweets on the cutting room floor that didn't make it into the tweet storm. My first question is, do you think there are some common failure modes or typical things that people do wrong when they're trying to apply this advice?
A lot of people don't understand what specific knowledge really is or how to quote unquote obtain it. People don't understand what accountability really entails. They think that accountability means being successfully accountable. No, it means that you have to stick your neck out and fail with your name out there publicly and be willing to let people hate on you. One of the reasons I'm less active on Twitter lately is because every tweet summons an army of nitpickers and haters, and it gets exhausting. But on the other hand, you have to learn how to ignore them. Otherwise, you can't survive on Twitter. A lot of people try to reconcile it with like, should I quit my 9-to-5 job or not? That can be a very hard decision. I don't think you need to go that extreme. You can start applying accountability and leverage and specific knowledge even within your existing career. It doesn't have to necessarily be fork off and do something else completely. A lot of people will use it as a way to agree and disagree with their existing biases. They'll say, oh yeah, I agree with that part, or that part you're completely wrong. The most interesting parts should be the ones that you disagree with, because clearly I've proven that I know a few things. So if you disagree with it, then maybe that is an area where you can improve your thinking. I've definitely improved my thinking all the time, but I will tell you that in this tweet storm, I put down the minimum viable principles. I did not put down the whole universe of what I know about how to make money, because 90% of it is suspect. I put down the bedrock, the stuff that I'm pretty solidly sure about. And I have not yet seen a tweet that has successfully contradicted anything in this tweet storm that would cause me to say, oh yeah, I got that one wrong. I think another place where people get a little bit off is they look at this and they say, well, this only applies to tech entrepreneurs. I disagree. The example that I gave about real estate was a good one in that regard. It's just the nature of leverage that technology drives leverage. So I'm going to push you in a tech direction to get the free leverage that is available in tech. And obviously, this message is being delivered through the internet. So it's going to have a pro-internet bias. There are also people who believe that it is unfair to the people who don't have these opportunities to do anything with the opportunities that they do have. With that defeatist attitude, why even get out of bed in the morning? 90% of people are dead. There's a lot of people who are living on $1 a day. Do you live on $1 a day? No, it's up to you to play the hand that you're dealt to the best of your ability. And then you can take the winnings, the pot from that hand, and do whatever you want with it to fix the world. But saying that you should not do things just because others can't do things is living in denial. It's an excuse to not do anything. There are also people who believe that wealth creation is fundamentally at odds with an environmentally safe and healthy planet. And they view the whole thing as a giant zero-sum game. That's a false narrative as well. Elon Musk is not playing a zero-sum game with the environment, and there are plenty of entrepreneurs who are not. If anything, there is a word that environmentalists love, which is sustainability. And for-profit businesses are at least financially sustainable, if nothing else. You can do a B Corp, which has a dual mission. A lot of nonprofit efforts would actually be better served by for-profit companies, because then they wouldn't have to go begging for grants all the time. They would be financially sustainable. Some great founders realize their philanthropic visions by running a business.